Hi everyone, I'm Peaceful Nick the Medium and welcome back. Please subscribe, like, and share if you enjoy my content. Today we're going to talk about Beginner's Mediumship Mentorship. I offer a 6-month mentorship to new mediums. I also offer intermediate and advanced classes and one-off classes as well. But today we're going to talk about things in Beginner's Mediumship. So always in my first class, I teach about sitting in the power and finding your guide. You can't really start mediumship completely until you have a clear space in your mind to greet the spirit world. So we go through techniques of sitting in the power and what does that mean, and finding your spirit guide and repeating the process of finding your spirit guide to make sure your guide that you saw when you were doing your meditative spirit guide search is actually your guide and not a manifestation in your mind. Sitting in the power also helps you to decipher between your own thoughts and thoughts from the spirit world. So we go over techniques in the first class to do both of those things. I also kind of throw my students into a real quick reading session. So we always do some readings in the first session of Beginner's Mediumship because it gets you used to all of a sudden, oh no, here I am, I have to do this thing, and helps me see where the development level of people who are coming into class already are, because I need to know that before I proceed through the mentorship. So I can get everybody kind of at the same level so we can track together through the class. Also, in the next class and over several classes, I discuss the clairs, clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance, and we talk about all the different clairs. Now, so for example, clairvoyance is clear seeing. Some mediums, most mediums I believe, see things inside their head. Some mediums see things outside of their head. And there's nothing wrong with either technique or way they do it. It's just varies from medium to medium. Also claircognizance. I think a lot of people have claircognizance and don't realize that they have it. Claircognizance is a clear knowing, when you just know things and the information's just in your head and you don't know why you know them. This is a clair I had all my life and I didn't realize I had it. I thought everybody knew things before they happened and everybody just knew things automatically. I didn't realize it was an ability. And so we go through all the different clairs and we do some clair exercises. We talk about, in the Beginner's Mediumship Mentorship, ethics in mediumship and what it is to be an ethical medium. Ethical mediumship is very important because if you aren't ethical in your healing, helping others heal, things aren't going to go well for you and you're going to do harm to other people. You have to have a set of morals and ethics that you abide by. Mine is do no harm and bring healing. My main goal is to help people start the healing process or continue the healing journey they're already on, and not to bring harm. There have been occasions when I've been doing readings that I've had to stay on a call with someone 20 or 30 minutes because they have booked a reading before they should have booked, and I can't control that. I recommend 3 to 6 months after someone passes before you book a reading, but sometimes they book it out of, desperation and they don't tell me. And so they're so upset during the reading because they're mourning so greatly that I have to stay on, willingly, of course, and help them kind of calm down their senses so they're not so raw and emotional when the call is over, because I don't want anyone to leave my reading feeling worse than when they got there. And some things I just can't control before the reading happens, but during the reading, I have to be ethical and allow them some space to do some healing before they end the call with me. It's very important for that to happen. So those are things, sometimes we don't think about may happen as mediums until we're mid-reading and that happens. We also talk about discipline and boundaries. So sometimes in mediumship, several spirits come in. I was teaching a class this past weekend, and one of my students emailed me with a story that, because I told them it was the first of my beginners class, and I said, a lot of weird things might start happening now that you've had this class because you've kind of opened up your antenna. I describe it as we have like little antennas, and the spirits want to come talk to us once we start. And this student sent me a message and said, something really strange happened right after our class, and I won't go into detail, but it was a very intense mediumship moment she had that was extremely important, and she got validated within an hour after it happened that is exactly what happened. And it was about a recent passing. And I had to tell her, first of all, are you okay? Because that's pretty intense. And secondly, you have to tell Spirit, now is not the time. Make it possible for me to contact this spirit when the time is right. The time is not now. So you can tell Spirit to pull back their energy and make it possible for you to have a communication with them when the time is right, when it's appropriate. So those are discipline and boundary issues that you will learn in my beginner's mediumship mentorship. We also talk about our database as mediums and how we can only come into a reading with the information and experience we have as the vessel, as a medium. We can only give readings with information that we have in our head. For example, I have a lot of experience with addiction and trauma in my family. And so I get a lot of readings, people who pass by addiction from their trauma. I've never been a world traveler, so I don't get readings where people are world travelers. So you see, we all have a different life experience as mediums. And so we all have a different database in our head. And Spirit finds a way to connect us with the sitter so we can communicate what we know through our database from Spirit to the sitter. I hope that made sense. And some mediums have a lot of symbols that they use. Other mediums, not so much. Personally, for me, I'm not a very linear thinker, and it's hard for me to remember like specific things like symbols and what matches what, because symbols can be very unique to each person. I don't teach my students what their symbols should be. I believe everyone will develop their symbols if they develop them ever. I have very few symbols when I do my mediumship work, very few. Some people have a lot, and it just depends on the medium and how their mind works. So you will learn what symbols are, and you may be developing your symbols, but not everyone is forced in my class to use symbols. Every student will develop their own techniques in their own way. We also talk about spiritual intelligence and the intelligence of the spirit world, and how the spirit world knows everything and has to tell you, the medium, from your database, the information in a way that you can convey it to the sitter in front of you. That's very important to know. Spiritual intelligence is all-knowing and knows everything, but we are the humans are the ones that have to interpret this. Emotional intelligence, this is probably one of the most important things when you are becoming a medium and you want to do work with the public. Emotional intelligence is so important. That means you as a person need to have dealt with your traumas. You need to have gone through some type of counseling or therapy or read self-help books or done some work on yourself so you can be healed just enough, or really a lot, but at least just enough to be able to help others heal and not do harm to others. So you have to have an amount of emotional intelligence and emotional maturity, maybe a simpler way to say it. You need to be emotionally mature enough to not do harm to others. I can't tell you how many mediums I see who work with the public who are still very damaged themselves and bring a lot of negativity into their readings. And that negativity is not appropriate. That is unethical. You should never have negative spirits coming through. Those don't exist. You should never say spirits are stuck or spirits are attached to somebody. Those things are manifestations from mediums who work with the public who have not healed their trauma. So never believe that. So you will learn all of those things and many more things in my beginners mediumship mentorship classes. Please like, share, and subscribe the videos if you enjoy this content, and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.